Good evening. My name is Katie Anderson. This is for Project C and communications class, interpersonal communications. Today we are going to be discussing the 5 love languages that there are. There's the different definitions, what I am, what my husband is, and how we've learned to communicate with each other, including a couple of tips to maybe help you communicate better with people that have a little bit of a different love language than perhaps you use all the time. The first one up is words of affirmation. This would be when you give somebody a positive feedback. This would be when you give somebody positive feedback or words to confirm that they're good. So a good example would be coffee. And I found this, and it's just a cute little example. So for affirmation for coffee, you would say to somebody, "Your coffee is delicious." Quality time. Quality time is another form of the 5 languages of love, and it is where somebody prizes time together, not necessarily doing anything, but just being present and with each other as the most important of their love languages. That's how they say I love you, is they devote their time to you. Time is of essence here. And so for quality time in the coffee example, you might say, let's go get a coffee. Now it's not about the quality, or it's not about the coffee being great. It's about the act of doing it together and being together. Next up would be gifts. Gifts would be something where the person doesn't necessarily want you to spend a ton of money on them. We're not talking gold diggers here. What we're really talking about is people who appreciate the act of giving a gift, the gift that helps them see that you thought of them, that they meant something to you, and you were willing to get that as a token of your friendship, your relationship, whatever the love form is there. Random gifts are the best for these people, and it's not about the money, and it's not about how much they spent on it. It's about the thought. This is truly the people who say the thought that counts. For using coffee as an example, you would say, "Here's a coffee. I stopped by on my way to get you a coffee," and that would be how you use love if you're trying to use coffee for an act of love for somebody who speaks the gift language. Fourth would be acts of service. So this would be where you're doing something maybe they don't necessarily know how to do, like to do, or enjoy doing, and you do it for them. For instance, I hate doing dishes. I'm looking at my sink right now because it's just about an inch too short for me, and it kills my back. It hurts so much for me to do dishes. So my dear sweet husband, who's actually taller than me, will do dishes for me. And for me, that's an act of service that I greatly appreciate. Physical touch it doesn't need to be erotic. It can be. It doesn't have to be. It's more about the act of touching, the act of the physical connection. It's not necessarily erotic. Using the coffee example, you'd say, "Let me hold you like a coffee," which would, be a hug. So those are kind of a little bit of examples, a quick breakdown of what each one is. Ironically enough, talking about love languages and what we have and who we are as people and our preferred language. I had my husband do the quiz not knowing what I was up to, and he and I are total opposites, complete opposites. It was funny because I had taken the quiz first, and he was mocking the choices for mine because he didn't connect to them at all, which was kind of an eye-opening experience for me. So for my husband, his top one is quality time. Time together without the child is how he defines quality time. Time where it's just us, maybe watching a movie, watching a show, sitting on the couch talking, maybe going for a drive, which used to be our favorite thing to do before we had our son. That's his top one. His second one is acts of service, and I gave a little bit of an example earlier with the dishes. That's how he shows love. That's how he receives love. So that's how he gives love, which he does things for you that maybe you don't necessarily like to do. And then it went from there, words of affirmation, positive words, encouraging words. I appreciate you. I love you. You made the house look amazing today. Thank you for all that you did. That's things that he really likes. And the bottom two were really farther down the list, and that was for touch and gifts, which is crazy because My top two were touch and receiving gifts, in that order. So I'm a very physical person. I love to cuddle my cat. I love to smother my baby in kisses. I love to give my husband long hugs. I have 5 friends. I handshake. I like to get a good handshake in there. I don't like to do these little, I don't know, it's weird when they're gentle. I'm a very physical person. I have to touch things at the store. I have to touch things pretty much everywhere. I'm a very physical touch. That's how I appreciate people and objects and things, and not my fish, but my cat, my pets. And receiving gifts from me is very sweet. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It could be a $3 fish. It could be anything. If it's a gift from my husband and it's just a random, I was traveling and I saw this and I thought of you, I'm going to put that at my workplace so I can brag about how amazing my man is. Likewise, if it's a random gift from a coworker, I'm going to take that gift and I'm going to take it home and I'm going to show my husband like a kid, look at what my coworker got me. They went on a trip and they thought of me. It's the thought. It's the idea that they saw this $2 keychain and thought, you know what, Katie would love that. Those things are really what stand out to me. So, kind of recognizing that we are polar opposites when it comes to love languages, I actually started looking up different ways to use love languages and how to learn how to speak each other's love language. And one of them was a pretty easy way. It was to look at how they show you their affection. If you're not wanting to be direct and ask, it's to watch what they do for you. So for me, my husband will wash laundry. He won't fold it. He hates it. He says part of his soul dies, but he'll wash it. And he does dishes and he cleans the house. Even if he's had a long day at work, he tries to get as much as he can done before I get home. And that's an act of service, because I hate housekeeping when I have my son with me, because I think I should be spending more time with him. So that's a gift of love for him, and to do that for me. And I'm always trying to buy him things. I'm always trying to give him little things or buy him things. Or, oh, he might like this. Oh, he might like that. And so for me, I've started trying to do more things for him instead of get him more things. I've tried to start folding the laundry without complaint, or picking on him for not doing it, helping with the dishes, picking up the floors, just little things. I mean, we do these all the time. I'm not trying to make it sound like my house is a disaster. Sometimes it is. We have a toddler, but still. Doing these things for him to show him that I understand his love language and I appreciate him and I love him, at the same time as I'm trying to also verbalize my pride and my love and my adoration for him in words of affirmation when he does things. If he's coming home and telling me about a challenge he overcame at work, I'm trying to really be involved in that story and tell him how proud I am of him, or how much I see how great he's doing at work, or overcoming new challenges, things like that. For him, I told him just straight up, when I asked for you to touch my head or pet my hair, it's just because that's how I show affection, and you're not a very touchy person, so I'm wanting you to touch me. Which is weird, because he's definitely obliged to rub my hair. And I've also told him that gifts don't have to be big or expensive, but that's a love language for me, because it shows that you thought of me, and it's a keepsake. I can remember that moment and that conversation and that surprise. So a tip I would say is just to kind of observe and learn how they show their love, so you can learn their love language, and hopefully that'll improve your life, whether it's with your friends or your family or your lover, your partner. It works for pretty much everybody. So, yeah.